That's good enough for me. We'll start with this one. All right. So, hey everyone. Welcome to the latest live stream, latest episode of Nephew Hours. I'm your host Miggy. And joining me today is Soul. How you guys do? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. How about you? Big day.
Doing all right. We had a good Thanksgiving break, and I'm glad to be back doing this. Um, so I initially planned for like a really chill episode. But I guess the NBA said no, not today. Because a funny story. Because as we were about to, go live, and we had an emergency like update the outline we had because um, at 5 o'clock Pacific time, Russell Westbrook was traded from the Houston Rockets to the Washington Wizards for John Wall and I think a first round pick. Um, what are your thoughts on this one? Because I have a lot of thoughts, but I want to hear what you go first.
Sure. So, one person told me this trade, the first round pick may be protected. I need to confirm that. Maybe you can tell me that if it is or isn't, because that makes an
All right, I'll
impact.
look this up.
But regardless of that, I would have to say Houston won the trade. And hear me out on this. I know James Harden liked the idea of
Okay.
Russell Westbrook. I know they were friends, but I just didn't think they were a good
Okay.
fit from the get go. They're both ball dominant guards, kind of point guards. I know James Harden started as a shooting guard, but he transitioned to a point.
Mhm.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay,
Or you had
okay.
something? Okay, so I mean,
I was waiting
so
for
I
you
just
to
didn't think they were a great fit. And I don't know if
uh-uh.
James Harden is a big John Wall fan, if they're friends like he was with Westbrook, but I think this will appease him a
Mhm.
little, even if he doesn't know it. Personally, I think this slightly lessens his trade chances, just slightly, just for now. Maybe he's going to see what's up with
Really?
John Wall, just to
Okay.
see what's up with John Wall, just to
Okay.
see what it's like to have another point guard who's a star. I know John Wall is coming off of his injuries, his surgeries, but well, just to
Mm.
see test the waters, and then if it doesn't work out, then he can always go back to demanding a trade. It could always happen before like All-Star break. But on the flip side, going to the Wizards, John Wall just was unhappy there. The Wizards were just unhappy with John Wall. It's just they've been together for too long. Nothing came out of it. It was just they both needed a different change of scenery, just different pace. And Westbrook and
Mhm.
Beal, I think that could work pretty well. Shout out Bradley Beal.
Okay.
So,
Shout
yeah.
out Bradley Beal. So my initial thing here is that I don't know who wins, to be honest. Um because to me they practically traded for the same player, you know? In my honest opinion, I think they traded for the same player. And why I say this is because look, can John Wall shoot? No. Can Russ Westbrook shoot? No. What does John Wall do? Just drive into the paint and finish from there. That's right. What
You're
does Russell
totally
Westbrook
right.
do? The same thing, right? So
You're very
I
identical.
I don't know. It makes I mean the other side, and then Houston, gets to reunite, I guess, DeMarcus Cousins with with John Wall. I don't know what they do with Harden because I mean Harden again wants to go to Brooklyn. Again, Houston still has all the leverage in the world to want to trade for if you want to trade Harden now or not. Um, but watching the trade because we know what Russell Westbrook can do. You know, we know that he can stat, get you a triple double. And he's a good co-partner with like Bradley Beal would be. Because with John Wall, you're kind of questioning like what he can do after two serious injuries back to back, right? Um, so I don't know. We will see what happens here because I think Washington could actually make a better push for the playoffs than what the Rockets can do. You know, so we'll see on that. I don't know if I'm being told I'm lagging in and out. Is this true?
I would say a little bit your audio, but it's a
Oh,
lot better now.
okay, cool. I just want to make
But
sure because
yeah,
uh,
I could make out what you're
I don't
saying.
want.
And one thing I wanted to just harp on. No, you're a
Okay,
lot better now. is that,
Okay,
you're
cool.
right, it doesn't really move the needle in the sense that one team gets immensely better and the other team doesn't get better. Like, just a blockbuster trade in that regard. Like they're both very similar players. So you're right, it doesn't move the needle in that sense. But like I was going back to, it is a change of scenery for both players, and it could bring a little bit of their old prime youth self. Like they could have better years just from being on different teams, just from the different change of scenery. So I agree with what you're saying. They're similar players and they don't bring anything new to the team. But I think the players will be better under new teams. And it's really cool that
I
John Wall is being partnered up again with Boogie, his college, teammate from Kentucky. I think
yeah,
that's another underrated aspect. Boogie tweeted
Boogie's
about it, just an emoji with a smile.
I so look again. I think Washington does maybe get a little bit better because again we don't know what John Wall is going to be like, right? We don't know what how he's going to play. We do know, like I said, we do know how Russell Westbrook is like. Um, I just he doesn't move to me. He doesn't move the needle as much as I would like. You know, um, because here's my thing, and it's the fact that um it's the very fact that again, Russell Westbrook is not a good player anymore. You know, like he's a like don't get me wrong, he's a he's a good player, but at the same time, he's not a game changing player for you. You know, and but
Yeah,
with
I
with
just want to say apparently the pick is protected. Sorry, I don't know if you mentioned that.
uh,
So I
oh
think
it is
that's what I'm reading. I'll have to double check that.
okay.
So don't take my word for it for sure, but I believe so, and that helps the Wizards, in my opinion, just to make the trade a little bit.
Yeah, and so let's talk about the Wizards here because again, I think they do win. Again, they do get a little bit better from the trade, right? And so you have John Wall, Bradley Beal. Um, who's their starting three? Is it Rui, and then it's Davis Bertans, and then Thomas Bryant. Is that their starting five? I don't know. I'm not too I'm not too
They're an eighth
well
seed.
versed on.
You're right. They're not like a fantastic team. Maybe they can somehow get to a seventh seed, but the East isn't that bad. They're kind of like I don't want to
Yeah,
say they're
like
matched up with the West, but they're very close. They're almost there if they haven't
I
already.
this is
It's a
like
sad
the
East.
Wizards. I think this trade for the Wizards, I think has the ability to make the Wizards be like a playoff lock, or it either flops and they're fighting for a playoff spot. That's the only way this works, right? Um, I still think they have a better shot now at making the playoffs than they did before, you know. But let's look at the flip side of it because again, the Wizards got better. I don't know if the Rockets got better, right? Because um your starting five now is gonna probably be John Wall, James Harden, Boogie Cousins, Christian Wood, who they just signed, and what PJ Tucker maybe
Yeah.
as a
Where's Eric Gordon? Where did he go?
would probably be six man again,
Okay,
right?
yeah. So yeah, I mean that's
I don't
honestly not a bad lineup to me if you really believe the Christian Wood hype. I thought he's kind of a center. I know he's a
no I
four body, but plays like a five. But I mean,
he
listen, like I get what you're saying. Both players aren't that different from one another, so it's pretty much just getting like the same player, more or less. But I'm
yeah
just at the end of the day, both players absolutely needed to go to a new team. They were just like
yeah
hampering,
definitely
or they weren't happy. So in that mindset, in that regard alone, maybe the players will perform slightly better going back, like I was saying earlier, to their youth, their prime days, just because they have a new place to have a new team. Like they don't have to be dealing with everything they do. Like I think John Wall on the Rockets will have a better time, and I think Russell Westbrook on the Wizards.
really.
Yeah, I just think
But okay,
John
but
Wall.
John Wall is coming off of not only an ACL, but also he
Yeah.
tore his Achilles while recovering from his ACL.
No, you're right. I'm not really okay in that regard. Yes, I wasn't taking injuries into account. I know as foolish as it may seem,
Yeah,
but like I'm just saying in the sense that they'll play better than they would be playing this season if they were on the same team. So like I think Russell Westbrook on the Wizards will play better than Russell Westbrook on the Rockets the same season.
Mhm.
But, yeah, we'll see.
I
John
think
Wall is a big question mark. We'll see how he recovers from his injury. There's no doubt about that.
we'll see. I think initially Washington may have the upper hand here because now they can actually like make a legitimate possible run in the Eastern Conference like playoff race. Who knows? Houston, I can't guarantee anything yet because
Yeah.
I mean that roster construction is kind of awkward.
No, I'd say it's like
Um,
60-40 Wizards, you're right.
we'll see. But so before we move on to what we were supposed to be talking about, I think you mentioned this earlier, but do you think this makes a Harden trade more or less likely?
So I think I was talking to you about this off cam. Initially
Hmm.
initially, I think this makes the Harden trade less likely. Just to start, I think
Okay.
again, James Harden, he liked Russell Westbrook. They're friends. James Harden wanted Russell on the team. He positioned for it, but I think he realized it didn't work out as a basketball perspective standpoint. Russell
Hmm.
Westbrook and him are both ball dominant guards. Not to say John Wall isn't. He's a little more giving
Hmm.
up with the ball. So I think just as a basketball team fit, I think James Harden may want to see what's up with John Wall. He knows he is another potential All Star if he holds up from an injury. Again, big question mark. So I think just
Hmm.
at the beginning of the season, it makes the trade less likely. I mean, James Harden can still request a trade like closer to the All Star break if we have one, and then
Hmm.
be traded. But I
We'll
think
have
at
an
the
all star. We'll have an all star break, but not like an actual all star game.
got you.
So I mean, my opinion on it is, I think I, I look. I want to say the homer. So here's my homer pick. Like I want to say the Harden trade now suddenly becomes more of a possibility now because you're like offloading like your previous star, star duo kind of thing. But on the flip side, though, Tim McMahon of ESPN did report that Harden is not, he's still firmly planted in Houston, according to the Rafa GM. And speaking of GMs, though, I know I'm kind of like going off topic just a little bit. Um, what you call it? Literally last week, Wizards GM Tommy Shepard said there's no plan to trade John Wall, and literally now today he snakes and trades. And so, again, before I go back to Harden talk, uh, this is why we're all pro player. Organizations, time players, even if they want out, they deserve to be out. That's my call to trade Harden to the Nets. But but
And I didn't see
realistically
that
though, I
before.
think
You're right.
yeah, right.
If James Harden's still, if that's a reliable source, then yeah, you're completely right. He may still want to be traded, and that'll have to happen sooner or later. But like you said earlier, Rockets still have all the leverage, so
It,
they can still hold on to him. And if anything, the Rockets can see how he is with John Wall before. And then, yeah, I
I
don't know.
think
We'll
with
see.
I think with Harden, if he doesn't get traded by the deadline, he's definitely gonna get traded next off season without a doubt. Like there's no way he's gonna if he turned down 50 million a year just to get the hell out of Houston, by all means, like he's gonna
Yeah.
get traded I next summer at the latest for sure. Um so speaking of like all this team construction, team building, I kind of want to dive into what we were supposed to talk about, and it's free agency, and we'll include like the trades and stuff too, and the draft as well, since that all pretty much happened in a week. Um, so I kind of want to open up with the free agency winners. How we plan this is like we're gonna kind of run down who we thought like improved and did better in free agency, then we'll talk about slandering the the rest of the losers that we think they are. Um, so I kind of want to open this up. The first and foremost winner, and I feel like our uh, our viewers are gonna probably be pissed about what we say, and it's that the my first winner is for sure gonna be the Lakers, without a doubt. The Lakers, and why I say it's the Lakers is because um, look, the Lakers gave up Rondo, they gave up Dwight Howard, and they gave up Danny Green. Who did they get in return? Upgraded versions and Dennis Schroeder. You get Wesley Matthews now coming off the bench. Now you get now you get Montrezl Harrell, now you get Marc Gasol. Literally, the Lakers got better in every facet. I don't I there's you know, I there's no way you can say they got worse or, didn't move a needle just a little bit.
They got better, but they got younger. I don't think it matters with LeBron that much,
And
but yeah,
that's the better part too, though. Like
yeah,
it because look,
perspective,
because we
yeah.
know because look, LeBron signed into um what 2 more years to 2023,
2 years, 85 mil.
right? So again, they still just they even got younger, and it buys the Lakers more time to to maybe land maybe someone to be their franchise player. Who knows, right? And again, the Lakers still have they extended their window pretty much to not only repeat but maybe try and go for three-peat. But with these moves that they made in free agency, even if they're 1 year, 2 year deals, and this Dennis Schroeder trade, this gives them a window to for sure repeat or maybe three-peat. That's my opinion on the Lakers on how they did this. To be honest, do you think? Do you think the Lakers can repeat off their moves or what?
So what I'm trying to figure out, and I think I'm right, is that LeBron's already signed for 2 years, and then this was just an extension to those 2 years, and he's 35 years old, so he's gonna be on contract for 4 years, and he'll be on the Lakers till he's 39 years old. That's my understanding of this. If I'm wrong, correct me at any point. But, I think
He'll
that's
be
fine.
almost 40.
Yeah, yeah. He's just waiting and see what year what team Bronny's drafted on, and then hop on that for the retirement joyride.
They're gonna rig it. They're gonna rig it, and he's gonna get drafted to the
Bronny
Lakers.
to the Magic, yeah,
When
yeah,
Bron
you're right. Bronny to
Hell
Orlando,
no,
I
shut
agree.
up. Shut up.
It's the
Shut up,
Magic.
he's not gonna do it.
Um, okay, but yeah, yeah, Lakers can totally repeat it.
They
Yeah,
just
Lakers got a lot
too
better. You're
simple.
right. That was one of my winners,
Mhm.
so I don't want to continue to harp on them because you pretty much said what there is to be said about winners. Or for the
Uh-huh.
Lakers. So, do you want to do all your winners and then I do all my winners and you
Okay.
do all your losers and I do all my losers?
Alright. I'm down. I'm down. If we get the similar ones, we can combine them. But,
Exactly. I'll split
my
some of
my
them.
my next winner I have we'll stay in town. I wanna say the Clippers, okay? And I know we can clown on them for 3-1, right? That's obviously their fault. They blew it. Paul George can say, "Oh, they didn't adjust." Paul George, you were part of the problem. Okay. um, the whole team chemistry thing um is also an issue for the Clippers, and they kind of got rid of it, right? Um, Marquez Harrell is gone. He was one of the people that complained about PG and Kawhi. Patrick Patterson left, but he left because they blew the whole 3-1 lead. But I think the Clippers did bring in Serge Ibaka. I don't know. That's a good help. They brought back Reggie Jackson, who should be helpful off the bench. I think the Clippers won in the sense that they still made moves enough to stay competitive to make it to the Western Conference Finals. Are they going to beat the Lakers? No, but they still win in the fact that they can make a push to solidify themselves as like the number two in the West and hopefully not blow it again. Because I mean that's my take on it. Like I think the Lakers and Clippers are still doing the arms race to run the West, even though the Clippers are still probably going to lose anyway. I don't know. That's my thing. They're probably going to lose in the second round. Who knows?
Yeah, no, I agree about for the most part. Clippers are also one of my winners. So what that means though is that the Lakers Clippers rivalry cross town. Nope, not cross town. Same building, same
Yeah.
arena for now until the Clippers get their own in Inglewood. Um, the rivalry's only gotten better. Their matchups have only gotten better. The only thing that I think
Mhm.
I'm a little higher on the Clippers than you are, it seems, but they did get better and they
Really?
got a new coach. So we'll see whatever. Yeah, the Clippers have a lot of variables. We'll see how the new coach situation goes. And not just that, but I've been seeing more and more reports just about the preferential treatment of Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, but mainly Kawhi. So let's see if that gets sorted out, maybe under new management or whatever coach. And yeah, we'll see if they can get the chemistry sorted out, then and the new and to get the game plan. I mean, they have all the talent in the world.
So, okay, so here's the thing though. I want to see your perspective on like how when it comes to having a new coach, and we know that this new coach is Tyronn Lue, right? We know he's great at managing superstars, right? Do you think this still makes does that make a huge difference with Kawhi and PG?
Yeah, no, I think exactly. I think just like what you said, Ty Lue will make it better. I was talking about the chemistry and
Really?
the team.
But why though?
I'm,
But why
I'm.
though?
Oh well, because if he's already dealt with big, I don't want to say big egos like LeBron, but yeah, sure, he's dealt with big egos like LeBron, and not to mention just LeBron, Kyrie Irving too. I don't know if he was a head coach, but I'm pretty sure he was at least on his
He
assistant,
was. He was when the
right?
2016 happened.
Exactly. So like he's dope, and he himself is like an NBA player. He's been on just teams, and he's been humbled when AI stepped over him when he was on the Lakers. So he's a humble guy. He knows how to humble players. I'm sure he's not going to take any like I think he's a good players coach. So I'm not concerned about the chemistry of that team improving and the preferential part improving. I'm more concerned about the gameplay aspect, the
I
scheme,
just
X's and
I
O's.
just don't know because you saw the athletic report that came out today, right? Um, where
He skimmed
they
it.
pretty Kawhi, yeah, pretty much where Kawhi and PG pretty much made the Clippers their bitches, and they they got to pretty much run the team. Like, mind you, right? Doc Rivers is obviously the head coach, right? What during that time, but Ty Lue was still on that. Ty Lue was still on that, coaching staff. He still had a voice. So I can see where you're coming from when it comes to the Clippers probably improving their chemistry, right? But does it really matter though if Kawhi and PG are still running this team?
That's the problem. We'll see. Hopefully, everyone sees these reports. Hopefully, the players see or hear that hey, your other teammates. I don't know who it is. Maybe they're not on the team anymore, like Montrezl Harris. But my point is hopefully they can tell like, okay, maybe this isn't cool anymore. Our teammates aren't happy about this. I think something's gonna change, and I don't think it can get any worse. I mean, it's good. I mean, it's interesting that we both agreed disagree. Like it's good that we got both sides. I just don't see how they can be any worse unless it comes from like game plan. I'm not
We'll
convinced
see.
on Ty Lue on X's and O's, but yeah,
We'll see. I mean, I mean, with Ty Lue though, apparently he's one of the smarter coaches in the league. No matter how much like we can we put all that on LeBron.
yeah.
So we'll see. I look. I still think the Clippers are still have the potential to be Western Conference Finals like bound anyway, barring any blowing of the leads again. But we'll see. I think it's let's go for you. What's one of your winners that you don't have on my list?
Okay, let me. I mean, one that comes off the top of the head is the Hawks. I mean, they got better in every
Mm.
aspect.
Ooh, I have that. I have them on my list too.
Yeah, like I think
But
for the
I
most
want to hear. I
part,
want to hear yours.
yeah, yeah. I think for the most part, like we can all agree, like just getting Rondo is huge. Oh man, I'm just blanking on the names right.
They
Jump in.
got Bogdanovich.
Yep, exactly.
They got
Right,
Bogdanovich,
which is
Rondo.
why Bucks are one of my losers, but we'll get to that later.
No, so
Honestly, that's just a
they got
mess up.
Rondo, Bogdanovich.
Right.
They added Gallinari. Those are their big three
Gallo, yeah, I don't know about that
signings.
contract, but yes, yeah.
Wait, really? You don't like the Gallo signing?
So I think, from my understanding, Gallo like he agreed with management that he's going to come off the bench,
Which I
and if
don't
he,
like, but
yeah,
go on.
exactly, exactly. It's not that I don't want either. I don't like it either. Um,
Uh-huh.
it's for John Collins, isn't it? Correct. I think he's starting over him.
I think
Who was
it's
it?
either that or he's gonna be coming off the bench for like Cam Reddish or DeAndre Hunter. Who knows? But it's probably gonna be
Yeah,
John Collins.
yeah. But anyway, the Bogdanovich deal is great. The problem with the Hawks, though, and the Rondo deal is great because hopefully Rondo can train Trae Young. The problem with the Hawks that it was last year too is their defense. I don't really know if they got better in that aspect, but just off
No,
talent
they
alone.
didn't. They
Exactly,
didn't.
just off talent
Yeah.
alone. I think they move up a seed, maybe take the Magic's eighth seed. Darn it, whatever. Um, this is a great draft class to tank for, but that's not what this podcast is about. Anyway, so yeah,
Shoot,
yeah, it is. It's one of the strongest ever. We'll talk about that in upcoming episodes, I'm
in
sure.
a future, yeah,
Yes.
for sure. So I'm 100% agreement with you with why the Hawks are winners. Like they added a lot more talent, and they actually got Trey Young some help. I also agree with the fact that I hate Gallinari coming off the bench because why would you sign him to that massive contract in the first place? You're not gonna start him. I would assume they
Is
traded John Collins, but they
is he
haven't.
like
They said
that?
they're gonna try to
Yeah.
sign him. They said they're
Someone's
gonna sign him
trading.
to an extension, but
Someone's
someone's gotta
trading.
go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or they're handicapping their money, their cap, like they're handicapping their cap space. Like I don't know, because eventually they're gonna have to re-sign Trey Young, and then that's when you're gonna really
I
in the
know.
next
That's what I'm
contract
saying.
get Trey Young, all the good players. Not now. He's good, but he's not gonna be in his prime for a couple years.
I know. And so, like, offensively, though, like, the Hawks got better, right? Defensively, sure, marginally, you added Rondo. Bogdanovich, sure. Like, he's an okay defender, right? The only issue now I have, though, is with um is this enough to really push the Hawks over the hump? I believe so. I think they can be a solid 7 or 8 seed, six if they really want to overachieve. But the thing is though, again, like we said, earlier, like their defense doesn't has not really improved, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm
They're
kind of curious if you want to talk about this later. Like
uh
The East will seed if what we expect it to be. I think Hawks can make the eighth over the Magic. I don't know, maybe seventh, maybe, but definitely not sixth.
so
So
one
yeah,
through six for me, for sure, in any order:
sure,
Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Philly, Toronto, Miami, and Boston.
agreed,
One through
100%.
six, any order. That's
Agreed.
where and then again, the Hawks made these moves to make 7 or 8, and it's a big part of it is, again, Trey Young's just emerged in his first 2 years as a franchise player and an all-star, literally, right? And so, now, I guess there's pressure for not only Lloyd Pierce and, you know, uh, Travis Schlenk, their GM, to at least have a winning roster, because I feel like their ownership would not care if they made it to the 8th seed and got swept 4-0 in the first round, right? The concern for Atlanta is if they added all this talent and
Yeah.
they lose in the play-in or they miss the play-in completely.
So for the seven
That's
and
what
eight seed, I guess that leaves the Pacers, Wizards,
Pacers,
and
Wizards, and
not Charlotte. It's not Bulls. It's not the
Hawks.
Knicks. It's not the Pistons.
Pacers, Wizards, Hawks.
Yeah, that's
I
it.
don't know. I,
Maybe
I would put
Magic.
the Magic or Bulls there.
Maybe
Maybe
not
the
Bulls.
Hornets. I'll I'll
We'll just
I'll
have
I'll
to
get on the
be.
Hornets in a little bit,
Yeah, we'll talk with
but
them.
we'll see. But I think this move puts the Hawks in a conversation to like where they can be spooky and make a run in the playoffs to the 8th seed, maybe 7th.
Agreed. We're definitely in,
So,
yeah.
we're in league on that one. Do you have any other winners you wanna pipe in on? Because I have a surprise one.
Well, real quick then, I'll just say my three, and maybe we'll give reasons, like one sentence reasons or none at all. Suns,
Mhm.
Blazers, 76ers. If we're
Ooh,
just
I
talking
like
about
the
off
Suns one.
season, if we're just talking about off
Okay.
season, we're not talking about players even. We can just go to 76ers. They got Doc and Daryl Morey. That alone, I think that unlocks Embiid. Hopefully, he starts to care more. I don't really like the Dwight Howard signing because, like,
Do you like the Danny Green trade though?
oh yeah, of course, I do
Okay. What
personally.
about the Seth Curry one?
To be honest, I forgot about that, but yeah, I do, and I think it's great that
Okay.
Doc Rivers is his father or father-in-law.
This is
So,
his stepfather, or
his
yes, the father-in-law.
father-in-law.
My bad.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't
So,
know families. My
no, I
bad.
think Seth Curry's always been. I don't call him underrated. I think players, people understand or people know what type of player he is, but I still think he's kind of underrated. Um,
Mhm.
and Danny Green, I'm not super high on, but I think they obviously need a shooting, so you get two shooters in that. So yeah, they're good. To the Suns, yeah, maybe they're hemorrhaging their
I
future
like
with.
the Suns a lot.
Yeah, maybe they're
But
hemorrhaging their
continue.
future with the draft picks, but it's okay. You need to make Devin Booker
Well, you got CP3.
happy. Yep, exactly. Of course, that's my main point for that trade. They with all the draft picks, they got Chris Paul, and yeah, DeAndre Ayton's bad. Sorry, I don't know what I said. He's raw. I was
Oh,
gonna say
really?
he's a. No, he's great. He's great.
Oh, I
My
was about
bad,
to say, is
Sun
he
stands.
bad?
My bad, Sun stands, and
Uh-huh.
Also, Aiden fans. But my point is Aiden's yeah, he's young and raw, but you got to make Devin Booker happy now if you have any reason to believe he's gonna leave in the future. And Chris Paul is
Mhm.
that player. And then
Mhm.
I forget now who my last player what team was. I think it was the Blazers. I just like
Uh-huh.
their signings, like Robert Covington
Oh, that was a
specifically.
good trade, yeah.
Yeah, us trading the re-signing of Rodney Hood and Carmelo Anthony just for a 1 year league minimum or
Mhm.
veteran minimum. I just think they got better on the perimeter, 3 and D type players, and I mean they're already like super invested into their Dame Lillard or Dame and McCollum backcourt, so they needed some help on the wings. Their centers are
Mhm.
good, healthy, so
Yeah, do you think Melo comes off the bench now, or do you think he starts?
I think if the Blazers are smart, and I think they are, they take him off the bench. Yeah, I think he's a great six man. He's going to be kind of Melo was my favorite player when I was younger. I still have a poster of him. He's the reason I'm a Nuggets fan.
Uh-huh.
But he would just come off the bench better as a sixth man. He could potentially. I could see him being a six man a year candidate. He could
Because
kind of be ball hoggy in the second unit
what
if
I
you
was
want.
going to assume what I was gonna assume was that it would have been, Dame, CJ, Covington, and then Melo, and then Nurkic, and then you brought Zach Collins and Hood off the bench. Oh, and Enes Kanter. They brought back Enes Kanter. So,
Exactly. Yep, that's a good one.
do you think now, like, so do you think that the Blazers are for sure a playoff team, or are they still on the fringes of a 7 and 8 playing game?
I think they are a playoff team. Just how we were like looking at the
Okay.
Eastern Conference. If you want to look at Western, we can. I mean, I think the
Mhm.
teams that made the playoffs last season. I'll just say that because it's easy to tell who's going to worse or better. Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets, Rockets, Thunder, Jazz,
Okay.
Mavericks, Blazers. So one to
I was gonna
three
say the
Lakers.
Warriors too.
Yeah, Warriors and I don't know
I
if they
think
got
they
much
should
better.
be. I
Okay,
think they should
maybe.
be.
So Mavericks got better, or they should be better. I'm not gonna say they got better because
Mhm.
they didn't do that much, but it should be
They
better now.
should be. Yeah,
Okay.
they should be.
Jazz probably gonna be worse. They were 6 seed. Thunder will be worse.
Mhm.
They were 5 seed. Thunder won't make
Mhm.
it. Let's just say the Jazz won't make it. That opens up two spots. Two teams that didn't make it. Well, the Warriors and the Suns,
Mhm.
if you want. Blazers are 8. I think they can maintain 8, 7.
Yeah. Okay.
I think they're good.
I'll go with it. So, before I get into my winner, um, so I think I agree with you with the Suns and Blazers takes. I think they got better. I think the Suns obviously got better. I can't guarantee them a playoff spot. I can't, because there's so many better teams in the
I
West. I can't
agree.
do it.
I agree.
But I think I can guarantee them in the play-in.
They'd have to get hot like they did in the bubble and just go
They
undefeated.
have to. That's the only way. But I'll give them the play-in for sure. Blazers, I think the Blazers can definitely make the playoffs for sure. I don't know if I don't know if they go higher than maybe 5, but I think they can get in there. So I kind of want speaking of the Western Conference, because you brought it up. I want to bring up my last winner, and it's the T Wolves. Okay. And why I say this is because, they added players that they needed, right? They added Rondé Hollis Jefferson. Okay. They brought in Anthony Edwards. I know that's not free agency, but it's the draft, and they needed, another shot creator next to D'Angelo Russell. I hate the guy, but they kept Malik Beasley. Uh, they added players. I need to look up who else they added, but they added enough players. Oh, they added Ed Davis. Forgot about him. Good. He's gonna be a good center off the bench. Totally blanked out. But I think they made enough player. They added enough players to at least make it to the play-in tournament. That's it. I can't guarantee. Oh, they also added Ronda Hollis Jefferson. Forgot about that one too. So they pretty much reunited the 2017-2018 Nets.
Mhm.
Or no, 2018-2019 Nets.
Did they make the
Um,
playoffs? No.
I can't. I can't guarantee a solid, like,
No, I meant the Nets
seeding.
that season.
Oh, the
Yeah.
Nets definitely, I don't
Yeah,
know.
exactly.
But
But
I
yeah,
think for
they could surprise people. They're a sleeper.
I
They're
I
dark
think
horse.
so too.
That's
Because again, they have what? D'Lo, Cat, um, Anthony Edwards, right? That's your big 3 starting. Then you have Rubio, Malik Beasley off the bench. Forgot they added Rubio. He's coming home. So I think they can make a push for the play-in tournament for sure. I can guarantee them they'll be in the play-in tournament,
okay.
right?
So they'll play the
I
Suns.
Yes, yes, because 7
Mhm.
and 8 for me
Book
are
it.
probably gonna be
Suns,
Suns. I
Wolves.
can book it. Like I will book it. Like the 9 and 10 will probably be Suns and T Wolves for me. I will book it. If it doesn't happen, you guys can look back in the stream and clown me. But I will book it 9 and 10 for sure is gonna be Suns T Wolves because I think the T Wolves are talented enough to at least make it up there. Because look, the Thunder are falling off, right? We talked about that. You're replacing 7 and 8 with like the Warriors, and then you're gonna probably keep the Blazers in there, right? Um, then the only other teams that you can compete with are the Pelicans, the Grizzlies. That's it, right? And I just don't think the. I mean, the Pelicans got better for sure, right? Um, but they lost Drew Holiday, and they're a super young team other than Steven Adams. So I just think with D'Lo and Cat hopefully staying healthy, right? The T Wolves can make it to the play-in tournament. Will they beat the Suns? Maybe, maybe. It just depends who plays the better defense, right? But we'll see. I can't guarantee them 1 through 6, but I can guarantee them a play-in.
I hear
That's
you.
my thing for the T Wolves.
All right. Should we talk about the losers then?
Oh, big time. You can go first because I know you wanted to talk about one big name one.
Yeah. So yes, well, I'll talk about the Bucks, and then I want to talk about the Pistons because I think we both have them as a loser for the United States.
Yes, we do have both the Pistons
Yeah.
in there.
So I'll go with the Bucks, though. I mean, I just think that was a huge mess up, and not only did it cost them Bogdanovich, who didn't seem to want to go to the Cheesehead State. It seems
Uh-huh.
like it seems like it impacted Giannis's re-signing chances, and I think at the end of the day, everyone in the world can agree that's what matters the most for the Bucks this season, next season, the potential next 5 seasons if Giannis stays. And I think he understands the team did not get better by not getting Bogdanovich. And I just
Mm.
think that was a big. Just how does that even happen? Like I know they got DJ Augustine and some. Who else did they get
I
again?
mean,
You remember?
they got Bobby Portis and like they just filled out their rosters with like they got Bryn Forbes from the Suns. They just filled out the
They
roster
got
with like whatever they could.
Yeah, they got someone I want to say, but if,
But I so before I let you continue with the Bucks, the only reason why the Bucks messed up is because they got caught with quote unquote tampering. Because I mean everyone tampers, but they messed up and made it too public that they were tampering.
huh, huh, that's funny. What was it? But didn't Bogdanovich
Because
not
it
want
was
to
they
go?
said sign and trade but they're not allowed to technically announce that until Thursday
True.
of that
Did
week.
Bogdanovich not
So
want to go as well?
he no, he did. He did because Giannis
Yeah.
personally like recruited him there.
Huh.
Um
Interesting.
but
I think it worked out better for him potentially on the Hawks, but
but I know
I
definitely
don't
big
know.
time. But they
Well,
only
it
got
depends if he wants to be in the first seed or second seed of the East, and it didn't. But yeah,
I think they'll be the 1 seed.
yeah, I think so too. But then going on to Pistons, you can go ahead and start.
Okay.
If you want to go continue with the Bucks.
I okay, so with the last pick, I think I know you have the Bucks as your losers, and it's easy for you to put them there. Um, I'm half and half, right? They won in the sense that they filled out the roster like with filling in the needs that they needed to have, like another shot creator and more defenders.
They've thrown
But at
him
the
in
same time, they messed up hard on Bogdanovich, and it makes them look bad for it. But I don't know. It also kind of puts them in a bind with Giannis because like the word was that Giannis getting Bogdanovich and Drew at the same time was like the shoe in to keep Giannis, but now Giannis hasn't signed his extension,
of
right?
course,
All they got
Drew.
was Drew
Yeah.
Holiday.
Yeah.
I still think they're the number one seed again because they always overachieve in the regular season. But come playoff time, they're probably going to lose in the second round conference finals again because the Bucks don't have winning basketball in the playoffs. That's all it
Yeah,
is.
no, getting Drew's good. I forgot to mention that. I do think Eric Bledsoe isn't as bad as we used to think. As you, I don't
Oh,
think
he's
he's as bad as he used to
garbage.
be. Yeah, and then
No, he's
George
garbage.
Hill, and then George Hill is all right. And then they did give up a lot of draft picks if we're talking about that trade. But
I
no, I get
know.
it. Did, but Drew, this is good. That part is good for the Bucks. So yeah, I get it. Like the only reason they're losers is because of that blunder. Otherwise, they'd be like average. I wouldn't consider them a winner
I
or a
just,
loser.
I mean, again, so they could be losers with the amount of picks that they gave up, right? Because this means that you know they only lose because if both Giannis and Drew leave, they have nothing to build around, right?
Yeah,
So
I
if
see.
the Bucks have to be guaranteed for sure that Giannis is staying, and they have until the 21st to see if that's actually true or not, right? Um, we'll see. But moving on, same division, same conference. You mentioned them. Gonna talk about the Pistons, and how they're losing. So I initially, right, I would have said they were winners, because they had a good draft. I think adding Isaiah Stewart, you had Sadiq Bey, you had Killian Hayes. That's a good young core to have. They traded Luke Kennard for Sadiq Bey, right? And they still have Blake Griffin and Derrick Rose, but you would expect that they get traded at some point, right? But so far, their markets have been dry, you know. But the reason why I have them losers is because they absolutely botched free agency for no reason. Because they had all this cap space that they could have saved for bad deals and get assets for, but they went out and let Christian Wood go, right? Who could have been a young core, franchise player alongside Killian Hayes, Sadiq Bey, Isaiah Stewart, but then brought in Mason Plumlee for almost the same amount of money. Brought in Jeremy Grant, where I don't know where he's supposed to fit. Is he going to start for you? Is he not? Because you still have Blake Griffin who plays the same position as Jeremy Grant, right? Um, and you still continuously sign up a load of centers.
Yeah,
It's like when
hopefully.
the
Go ahead.
it's like if the when the it's like when the Knicks signed all like five power forwards last season. It's like Troy Weaver was like, "Wow, that's such a great plan of success. I'm going to sign five different centers to massive contracts for some reason." It makes no sense to me. I what do you
I think the Pistons will eventually trade Blake Griffin, and yeah, no, I mean they're definitely a loser of this offseason. There's no doubt about that. I agree with you. I think they will trade
Mhm.
Blake Griffin eventually, though. So I think that is just something to put in perspective. But it seems like they're just tanking for the future at this point. I think they did some strategic moves. I really do think they're trying to just tank and offload bad guys and no offload Blake.
I think they're definitely tanking for sure. There's just
Yeah,
no way.
it's
You
almost
sign
obvious.
Mason, but like again, but if you're tanking though, you would sign these players to 1 year deals, right? Just to fill out your roster. But to sign Mason Plumlee to three, Jeremy Granto, I think was also the same amount of
Yeah, they took
time.
the Nuggets players. That's one of the reasons they almost consider Nuggets like a loser. But I thought like they don't need to pay these players. I honestly don't like Plumlee at all as a Nuggets fan, so I'm glad to see him go. And then Jeremy Grant is a loss, so I wasn't happy about that. But like he needed a
It
bigger role. He wanted it.
it it
Um,
just makes no sense.
and then the Nuggets are hoping Bol improves and
That's
MPJ.
what they're banking on. But
Yeah, Michael
I
Porter
mean,
Jr.
they should have just done the Knicks route here that they did this offseason with Leon Rose, was to sign crap players to 1 year deals, right? Like, look, I can't say the Knicks are losers because they sign crap players, okay? Because they only sign them to 1 year deals. They can get rid of them. They're tanking, right? Um, the 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 Detroit Pistons, they sign a bunch of solid players to that, again, you need them to fill out the roster, but they're also on long-term deals almost. So what are we what are they doing? They even signed freaking Leangelo Ball today. Albeit as an exhibit 10, and I believe that's like what, like a training camp
That
deal?
automatically qualifies them as a loser. I don't know. Maybe I've seen something of Leandro Ball in the past few months, but I don't think he's an NBA talent.
Yeah, so I totally forgot about it. So I totally forgot about it
Yeah, me too.
until he I looked on my phone again and saw that they signed him to an exhibit 10.
I wonder
So
how much
I don't
LeVar
know.
Ball had to pay. I think LeVar Ball paid the contract of LiAngelo Ball for the
he
Pistons. I
I
think
don't know. And I agree. So
all
again,
three Ball
we could be
brothers
memeing.
are in the NBA. This is a dream come true for him. It did happen one year. If LiAngelo never
I
makes it again,
mean, I
that
mean,
happened.
look, we can meme all we want about this one,
It is a
but
meme.
again, like, I mean, I don't know what the Pistons see in it, but I don't see I don't know why the hell they did it, because again, it makes no sense to do. Like, what is what maybe you can add him to your G League team after training camp,
LiAngelo's
you
next. He'll
know,
find a way to get on some team. I
but no,
watched.
but he's bad. There's a reason why he's
Oh,
the worst
oh.
ball brother.
No, no, I meant to say LeVar Ball is next. There's
Oh.
LeVar will find a way to get on some NBA team.
Oh
He'll
my,
find
no, it's fine. He's gonna play with Michael
then
Jordan
the
one
four
on one,
balls
and
will be
then
on it.
when LeVar Ball wins against Michael Jordan, he's gonna own the Hornets,
For sure,
big
they'll
time.
play. Yeah, you know Jordan
Big
loves a
baller
gamble.
moves,
You know Michael Jordan
big
loves a
baller
gamble.
moves.
Yeah, you know Jordan
It's
loves to
just
gamble. He'll be like, "I'll bet you the team for
the
300."
team. It's
And then
just
LeVar Ball will do
I don't know.
some crazy to like injure him, and then yeah,
Oh my
I
gosh,
can see it.
I
I'm
don't know.
playing it out like a movie. Space Jam 3,
Space
LeVar
Jam
Ball,
3.
MJ
Oh my
1v1.
gosh. It's just going back on Leangelo, it just makes no sense. We all saw the workout video. He hit the side of the backboard like Paul George. Okay, like the dude is not good. I don't know what like you can expect from Leangelo Ball. Like I wouldn't be surprised if he just gets cut after training camp. You know,
Yeah,
that's my thing, and that's why I mean, on top of the dumbass signings that the Pistons are doing. I mean, I guess they got relevancy for I guess what uh, 2 days. You know, um, I don't know. That's why they're a big time loser for me. Do you have any more losers before I do my last one, or do we agree
just
on?
Pacers. They only because in a
Oh,
sense.
Pacers.
Yeah, only in the sense that they wanted to, okay, they were status quo. They kept the status quo. They kept stagnant.
Fair.
They're stable, and that may not be good enough this year in the East when a bunch of teams have improved. Maybe allegedly the Wizards and probably the Hornets and definitely the Hawks. The Pacers can't be happy. They probably thought they were going to get Gordon Hayward or trade Oladipo or something of the sort, but neither occurred. I'm forgetting Miles Turner still is mids on the team. Um, yeah, they kept the status quo. It's not like they lost anyone or they did anything bad. It's just they needed to do something different, either get worse to get a better draft pick or improve to get a better draft or pick, standing in the playoffs. But they didn't either, and they may not make the playoffs either way for it. That's all.
Um, so I can see it. I don't know with the Pacers, I still can see them as a solid playoff seed because again, they always overachieve in the regular season, just and then just get obliterated 4-1, maybe 4-2 in the playoffs, right? Um, so speaking of Gordon Hayward though, good thing you bring him up because the Hornets were actually one of my losers, and it's purely because of the Gordon Hayward signing. Okay, because for me, I personally absolutely hated the Gordon Hayward signing. It makes no sense for the Hornets to do. Absolutely no sense for the Hornets to do. Because Gordon Hayward doesn't make you suddenly a playoff contending team, right? He doesn't at all. He maybe makes you like, "Oh, yeah, we could play in the play-in tournament.
No, yeah,
That'll get us something."
you have to hope that like he reverts to his old self, which is a big, big, big hope. Or he just
No.
needed a bigger role on the
No.
Celtics. He didn't have a big role enough role on Celtics, so he probably could have averaged more points.
Well, he
But
could've.
I
He
think the main reason why MJ did this is because he just wanted someone for LaMelo Ball to play with, someone not terrible. They
they
needed
had so
the Batum thing is
okay, you
terrible.
finish anything.
Yeah, that's it. The
I mean,
Batum, like,
they cut him. Oh, yeah, he went to the
yeah,
Clippers.
right. So,
But,
yeah,
okay,
that's about it. I just think they needed to give someone next to LaMelo. I think
it's just no,
MJ
I
has
can see
money.
that, right? I can see it. It's just for me, you have the
There's
Hornets
too
that
much.
we finally have a shot at rebuilding, right? This is the time where like, oh yeah, we can rebuild. We have a young core now in
Yeah,
Lamelo,
they
maybe
chose
Terry Rozier, maybe Devontae Graham, PJ Washington. Like, oh, these are young players who can develop. Maybe they can be franchise guys, right? And then the following year, right now you get maybe Cade Cunningham, maybe you get Jalen Suggs, you get Jalen Green, maybe, right? Because you're bad enough to get a top 3 pick. Am I correct? And so
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, no, I would agree. Like they chose a direction just now, MJ and management, and that direction wasn't tanking, which was probably the
they pick
better.
mediocrity.
Hmm.
They
Yeah, no,
want they just this move only makes them stay mediocre,
MJ has too much
mediocre
pride.
10, 11 seed.
MJ has too much pride to
It
be.
makes no sense.
Yeah, that's
And
what it
then
boils
look, I'm all about like owners, kind of like being like, here, take all my money. We're all in. Like, look at the Warriors, right? Look at the Warriors, look at the Nets, right? Um, they have owners that are all in on it, right? But when you have an owner that doesn't like to pay the luxury tax and also is very meddling, it's kind of a bad situation, i.e. the Hornets. I hate because Hayward is washed. Okay, let's be real here. He's washed. The only reason why he averaged 17, 5, and 5 is because Brad Stevens set him up to do so. Right. Um, I just it I just you the Hornets lost their shot at getting Cade Cunningham or Ramoni Bates, 2 franchise altering players. Okay, that's it. I don't know what else to say about the Hornets other than they messed up in trying to make a playoff push into a play-in tournament that they'll probably lose. They could have built LaMelo Ball around, and Devontae Graham as your backcourt of the future. That's it.
Yeah, 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 totally. I agree. They chose a bad direction. But do you want to go? Do you have any other losers, or should we talk about? Do we have if we
So
have time?
I have
We can,
one more. I have one
okay.
more loser, but I kind of want to. I This got sent to me just now, but apparently Paul George got to all the smoke. That podcast with Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes. And Paul
Oh,
George is blaming Doc Rivers, saying that Doc was trying to play me as a Ray Allen or a JJ Redick, all pin downs. Like he can do it, but that ain't my game. I need some flow. I need some mix of some pick and roll and post ups. And he said that last season's hard. So basically, he's blamed Doc Rivers, right?
that's brand new.
Shout out. This just happened. Yes.
Yeah.
Shout out to Kevin O'Connor who replied saying, this is an interesting comment because Paul George finished 33% of his total plays using the pick and roll, and which was a career high. The prior high was 25% in OKC. So this is a very different from a Ray Allen or JJ Redick one.
Yeah.
So
Analytics.
Paul George is trying to scapegoat uh, when he's actually a fake superstar.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean,
That's it.
Doc
Sorry.
Rivers is the easy target because Doc Rivers literally just jumped ship to another team
Got
and
fired and got
literally went
fired.
coast to
Yep.
coast, went from California to Philly. I don't know if we could go on
Philly.
much.
That's my that sorry. I had to throw
No,
that in there because
totally.
I thought it was kind
That's
of
a
funny.
good like yeah, totally.
That was
That's
kind of funny for me to read. So I
yeah.
kind of want to. So my last loser, is the Sacramento Kings. uh, and I only want to say this because they messed up with the Bogdanovich thing. They do take a huge W for signing De'Aaron Fox long term. I don't know how they convinced De'Aaron Fox to stay long term, but they did it, and I mean they paid him a lot, which is good. Okay. Um, I thought they were gonna get rid of Buddy Heald, and I wish they did.
Yeah, me too.
Um,
Maybe
I mean
later.
they also they added Glenn Robinson the third. Um, which I mean he's a good 3 and D guy, so it helps them. But I mean, not trading Buddy Heald, who's now super pissed off. Um, I mean, Tyrese Halliburton was a good one. Then you lose Bogdanovich. Glenn Robinson doesn't move the needle. I don't know. Kings. I don't know. Kings kind of took an L. I just like the De'Aaron Fox signing, but that's about it. Um, but yeah, I know you brought this up, but we do have enough time. We can talk about this one because announced today was the whole opening day, Christmas Day schedule. Opening day is gonna be pretty competitive. We got ourselves a Nets Warriors to tip us off at 7 Eastern. I sadly will be probably at work for the first half of it, so I'm gonna be bummed out for that. And then second game of the night will be Lakers Clippers. Saw this coming from a mile away. But then for Christmas, to start off, Christmas Day, we had the random Pelicans Heat. Let's force Zion into this Christmas matchup, and then after
Yeah, that's
that, you
hilarious.
got, I believe, after that you got Warriors Bucks, and then you got, that's when the whole when everyone knows this is when everyone starts tuning in, and the games start getting good. You have Warriors Bucks, and then you have Nets Celtics, and then you have Lakers Mavs, and then you had the revenge game of Clippers Nuggets. So I want to get your thoughts on this. What are your thoughts on these opening day schedules?
No, I love I love especially what you said about the Zion thing. I think they did a pretty good
I
job.
know it.
Um, yeah, no, it's totally true. I mean, NBA is totally riding their horse, or if that's the statement on Zion being a good player, like you better hope he becomes a star NBA player. But
I think
but
he
then I
will.
guess the Heat makes sense. The Heat are kind of just I don't want to say they're not average, but they're good enough level where it's like it's competitive enough. The Warriors, I mean, we'll see. It would have been a lot better if Clay was playing. Obviously, that's sad. I don't know if we've
Sorry,
talked about it.
I don't want to cut you off here,
Go,
but
yeah, go, do it. Yeah,
um, I don't want to. So I don't want to bash like the Heat, thing like for being tossed into the random Pelicans game, but I just feel that the Heat should have played the Lakers because we've had finals rematches before, right? We didn't have one last year. We should have, but the years before that. It's always been like Warriors, Cavs, like Heat, Spurs. Like they've been good matchups, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
I think it'd been a great matchup, right? If you just did Lakers Heat for Christmas.
Yeah,
But
fair
I
enough.
mean, I can see if they're trying to like limit travel or anything. But yeah, go on. Sorry, I just wanted to get that off
No,
my
that's
chest because
good. That's
I don't want to take no heat slander because
no, you're fine.
I like what the Heat have been doing
I
this
mean,
off season.
The Heat, fair enough. I mean, they are the third best team in Florida after the Orlando Magic, Tampa Bay Raptors, and then yeah, the so then going on to the second matchup, the Golden State Warriors and Milwaukee Bucks. Yeah, I mean, it'd be a lot better if Clay wasn't injured. That's obvious.
I
That's for
agree with you
sure.
so much.
Yeah,
That actually bummed me out so much.
this is for Clay.
Oh gosh. I mean, I again a lineup of Steph, Oubre,
Yeah,
Wiggins,
it'll
Draymond,
be a fun matchup.
Wiseman should be fun.
It will
This
be
is
competitive.
the Giannis recruitment game.
That isn't a way to think about it. Yeah, I hope he
This is
goes.
the this is
I hope he goes to
this
Dallas and not Miami. But yeah,
no, this is this is all a setup because Adam Silver knows that this is the Giannis recruitment game because the Warriors are going to beat the Bucks on Christmas.
Yeah, I
Giannis
know.
is to be like, "Oh my gosh, man, look at this crazy team. We have all this
Look at this
talent. We still can't
theory,
beat the Warriors who are injured."
yeah,
Bam, War
for sure.
Giannis to the Warriors 2021.
And they're gonna get Clay back probably. Yeah, that's good.
Oh
I agree.
gosh. All
And
right.
then we know what's up with the Bucks.
That we know
Just
what's up.
yeah, 'cause I think Drew versus Steph will be a good matchup. But yeah, Nets and Celtics, I think that's a great just
I can't
East
wait for it.
playoff
Uh
implications
mhm.
potentially. It could be like some playoff matchup eventually, potentially again. But they're two great East teams.
Mhm.
Kemba versus Kyrie, Tatum versus KD, maybe. I
Yeah,
guess you want to put up
definitely.
star versus star. Yeah, I just think it's a mismatch for the height wise. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, no, that's a great matchup. The Celtics, I guess they didn't really do too much this offseason, did they?
I mean, they lost Gordon Hayward for nothing. I mean, but they
Right,
did add they get that huge trade exception
right,
for
yeah,
sure. They can use to trade for
for
somebody.
capacity, yeah.
Um,
That's it. But then last two are Mavericks, Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets. I'm a Nuggets fan. I'm excited for the Clippers. I wish the Lakers instead of playing the Mavericks were playing the Clippers. So like Mavericks and Nuggets, Clippers and Lakers. But yeah, Mavericks and Lakers are
mhm,
always good. LeBron has a lot of praise for Luka Doncic. He likes him.
mhm,
Um, the Lakers will be a better team. The Mavericks should be a better team just off talent alone. Lakers
mhm.
should win that game, but the Mavericks will keep it close. It'll be a fun game, that's for sure.
Because
The
because
Clippers,
Mavericks don't have Kristaps, right?
is he
No
injured again?
Porzingis
I
till
forget.
possibly January. I assume it's until January.
Yeah,
I
he is
am not
injured.
entirely too sure.
Yeah, no, I
So,
that would make all the sense in the world knowing Chris Stapps. Yeah.
um, okay. So, I'm gonna turn back the clock a little bit to we're going
Mhm.
back to opening day on December 22nd. Um, again, I'm excited for it for the game. For both games actually. Nets Warriors. I'm excited for this game. I would have thought that the Nets would have gotten like a cupcake game to kind of like like I said earlier, build like we talked about this off stream, but to build like a little chemistry and a little bit more hype for Christmas games. But I'm really excited for this. It's going to be Katie versus former team, for sure. Um, you got Kyrie versus Steph. Um, I I think it's a really good matchup. I think it's going to be a ratings draw for sure, and that's why they did it for the opening game. I wouldn't be surprised if the Warriors somehow pulled an upset. Um, the one thing I'm looking forward for from the Warriors is how they do without Clay and how that bench looks because they added just Wanamaker and Bazemore to fill out their bench, right? Their bench right now, other than that, is Damian Lee, Jordan Poole, Eric Pascal's a good bench player for them. And then there's center group of Marquise Chris and Kevon Looney, assuming that James Wiseman is starting, right? But um, the real test here for not only the Warriors is definitely going to be the fact that are the Nets complete enough, and to prove that they are contenders. Like, sure, we can, we shouldn't overreact over one game, but you have Kyrie, Katie healthy, Karis LeVert, assumably, because apparently there's not going to be any trades happening for that, right? You have to assume that this deep team is good enough to beat the Warriors, right? That's what I'm going to. What are your thoughts on it?
It's no, it's a yeah, they should definitely win that
Like the
matchup.
Nets have to. The Nets, yeah, I think the Nets have to win for
It's
the
just
sake
about
of
the
like
chemistry. We'll see about the chemistry. That's
Stephen
it.
A. just backing up, Stephen A. backing off the whole hot take ride.
Steve Nash, first time being head coach. We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Christmas though, and I know you brought this up with the Nets Celtics. There's a size difference. I mean, not really. Um, the Celtics did add Jeff Teague, and he should, he's gonna have a bigger role now since Kemba Walker's gonna be out till January due to a knee procedure that was done. Um, I again, the Nets should not. And I'm even trying to be a homer on this one. The Nets should have a legitimately good shot at beating the Celtics on that one. You know, because last time they met, Karis LeVert cooked the hell out of the Celtics. And I kind of want, I really hope to see Kyrie cook the Celtics after all the slander he went through. last season for not playing those Celtics games because he had an injured shoulder. Um, I agree. I half agree with the Mavs playing the Clippers. You know, when the game they don't play, like no one watches a 10:30 p.m. game. I just wish that Mavs were fully healthy because again, LeBron versus Luca is gonna be a fun matchup. They're probably gonna put up triple doubles like they did last time. It's just 80s is gonna run rampant because there's no one on the Mavs that can stop him. Um, Clippers Nuggets, I think is gonna be a great game. I want to see the Nuggets still beat the Clippers. That would be real good. Um, like I said earlier, Warriors Bucks is gonna be the Giannis recruitment game. Um, and then Pelicans Heat. I think the Heat have to like the Heat are gonna win that. I don't know. I could be like wrong because the Pelicans the Pelicans have all this young talent with Zion, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo. But I think the Heat are just a better coach team and a better overall built team. That's my thing on it. But last last note before I let you say something. Apparently the schedule is gonna be released this Friday, and it's only gonna be the first half of it though. Like the first from December 22nd to March 4th, which is gonna be the All-Star break per se.
I hear you. Okay, that's interesting. Honestly, yeah, I don't have much more to say. I think you like, yeah, I agree with your sentiments and thoughts. I think that's like a good wrap up for the most part.
All right. So with that then, that's gonna be our episode for today and for our stream. Kind of last notes here. Uh Again, thank you guys for all the support. We're still trying to hit some of these requirements that Twitch has to put on us to make us affiliate, you know. But again, thank you guys for all your support. If you guys haven't followed already, please do follow us on Twitch. We love the support. Follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to us on YouTube. We're all on all these social media, so go ahead and do all that. And thank you again from all the bottom of our heart for all the support. We are planning to do another episode soon. It's gonna be a fun one. Um, kind of give a teaser on it. We're gonna be talking about all the city jerseys that have been leaked. We might do a tier listing of that. We'll see. Who knows? But other than that, that is all the announcements I have. Continue just to follow us on Instagram and Twitch. And with that, you guys have a good night. You guys stay safe. Goodbye, everybody.
See you guys. Had a lot of fun. Talk to you soon.